All right. Here are your answers. Okay, so grade your own. Take a look how you did. All right, that first one. Okay, again, no matter how many terms we have, unless it's just one. Okay, we always look for what? This is where you guys respond with the answer. We always look for what? A GCF. Thank you, Christian. Okay, I don't have a GCF here. All right. I can't find anything that's going to go into 9 and 4. And 4 doesn't have a variable with it. Okay? But I have two terms. The only thing, if I don't have a GCF, the only thing I can do with two terms is difference of squares. Okay? Difference, that's subtraction. I have a chance of difference of squares now. That's a perfect square, and that's a perfect square. So it becomes 3x minus 2, 3x plus 2. All right? Like I said yesterday, some of you guys are still putting 3x minus 2, 3x minus 2. It can't be that. Okay. One of them's got to be a subtraction symbol. One of them's got to be addition symbol. All right. Number 2, I don't have a variable here, so the only thing I can start with is x and x. And I have two numbers that are going to multiply for negative 24, two numbers that will add together for positive 2. Okay. Again, look here first. That second symbol tells me what? Who knows? Who remembers? That second symbol tells me what about my two numbers? Zach? The only one of them is negative, so I'm going to have different symbols over here. This symbol tells me what? Zach? The bigger number is going to be the positive one. So it's plus 6 minus 4. Okay? Number 3, again, I have a prime number here. So the only thing, if I want to do the guess and check, all right, the only thing I can have is to start with 2x and x. All right, this minus 18 tells me I'm going to have different signs. This negative here tells me that the bigger number is going to be negative. So that's why I have a negative 6 and a positive 3. Number 4, same thing. I have a prime number here. So the only thing I can start with is 3x and x. What does this tell me? I have a plus sign here now. Tells me what, Josh?
Both of the numbers are going to be negative.
All right, it tells me that my signs are going to be the same, but then this tells me that they're both going to be negative. Okay, so that's where you see the minus and minus here. All right, so 3x minus 4, x minus 2. Two numbers that will give me positive 8 when they're multiplied. And along with the 3, I got to be able to add them for negative 10. Number 5 on here is like the only one that you have to do kind of, you split that middle term and then group them. Okay, you can do the guess and check, but here you could start with 6x and x or 2x and 3x. There's a lot of combinations that you could have done there. So this one would have been easier. Make that chart, do 6 times 24, which is what, 144? So two numbers for negative 144, add for positive 7. Okay. You guys want to see any of these? We got time. I can go over any of them if you want. I can go over 1 or 2. We good? All right. Nothing else here. Okay. How about your homework worksheet from last night? And looking over your homework, there's a problem when I see we gave you guys like a huge hint here. 11, 12, 13, and 14, they had to be factored again. So those of you that just did one thing, that's not enough, okay? That's not going to get you a passing grade on this test. You have to look at what you have left, all right, and see if you can factor it again. Okay, a lot of times you're going to be looking at a difference of squares after you take out a GCF, okay? Or you're going to have a trinomial. You know how to factor trinomials. You just did it. You just did 5 of them, 4 of them, okay? So you got to do it all over again And then you gotta see, all right, now I have binomials. Do I have difference of squares anywhere? There's gonna be those kinds of problems on the test. Okay, so here is the key. And again, if you want to go over any of these, we can go over those. Christian?
You go over 13.
All right, hold on. Let's look at this top half, and then, yeah, we'll do 13 together. Is there any 1 through 8 that we want to see? Any 9 through 16 besides 13? All right. Christian, can you tell me where did you get stuck on 13?
Well, I found GCF, I think, which I said 6A.
No, would not have been 6A.
Yeah.
Which should have been 3A.
Yeah.
Okay, because 6 does not go into 49, and it doesn't go into 45 either. So divide all this by 3A. All right, so then 3A goes out front, and then I'm going to be left with 2A squared, 13A, and 15, right? Okay, so now I take out that GCF. But like we told you yesterday, there's another step here, okay? I'm going to ignore this piece. I'm not worried about this right now. All right, I'm done with it. I just got to look at what's left in here, this trinomial, as if this were the original problem we gave you. Well, now here I can see I need two numbers are going to multiply for positive 30, and then two numbers that are going to add for 13. So I'm going to end up with what? So 30 and 13, so 10 times 3, 10 plus 3. Okay, I'm going to split this. I'm going to get 2a squared plus 10a plus 3a plus 15. And now I group. Okay, I got four terms. I can group them. I'll get 2a here. I have a plus 5. And then 3 here. Plus 3. A plus 5. And I'll end up with 2a plus 3 and a plus 5. Now I got to remember this original GCF I took out, he's got to go out front, okay? He has to be there. If he's not there, then if I multiply everything back out, I don't end up with this, okay? So the last thing I'll mention, now that I did all that work and it seemed like a ton of work that I had to do, I still got to look here and say, all right, I have two terms in there. Do they have a GCF? Are they difference of squares? Well, I can see that they're not, but those are the things that I have to ask myself while I'm taking this test, okay? Do we want to see any others? All right. Okay, so we're going to pass out the practice test.
Hey, go ahead and get out a clean sheet of paper.
What? Yeah. Like that small. It's over.
All right, did you get it figured out?
Thank you.
Did you get one?
Yeah.
Shut up.
I wonder what-
I already had 5 burgers.
Alright, just put your name on that sheet, don't get started yet. I can go kind of backwards.
5 burgers.
He took 2. And then Dave gave him.
I mean, numbers.
Cause he had none. He didn't select.
You have a possibility of getting 3.
I don't know. I had like 6 this week.
It's 6.
Yes, sir.
I just
Is that the one you want me to get through those? And then.
It does.
Alright, we are gonna start with the last few, okay, because those are gonna be the trickiest ones. Alright. Number 24. This is not like in the last 2 sections of this chapter. This came earlier, and on the quiz that we took last week, there was a version of this that was a disaster. Okay. When you have a negative out front here, you have to take care of that first. Okay. That is the first thing you absolutely have to do. Okay. So essentially what I'm doing, I'm looking for a GCF, and if it's negative, I can just take out a GCF of -1. Okay. But I don't have just a GCF of -1. What do I have? A GCF of what? Colin?
3.
I'm going to say -3. Okay. So everything's -3 here because that's going to leave me a trinomial. In that trinomial that I'm going to have, I'm no longer going to have a negative out front. Okay. So I get -3 out front. And Colin, what's going to be left inside my parentheses here?
2x squared plus x. Or minus x.
Minus x.
And then, minus.
Minus 6. Okay. So, I'm not done. I have a trinomial. I need to factor that trinomial in there.
Yes.
Okay. It's going to end up being 2 binomials. I can immediately do this, though. I can have 2x here, and I can have x here. Again, because that number's prime. 2 is a prime number. The only even prime number. Okay? This is the only thing that will multiply back to give me 2x squared. Okay? Now I can do some guessing and checking, some educated guessing and checking. All right, I got to get -6, and I have to get, for multiplication, and I have to get -1 for addition. So, anybody think that they know what numbers it might be? Jordan?
-3 and 2.
All right, so how do you want to put this together? Where do you want these numbers to go?
You decide.
Huh?
You decide.
I haven't made a decision my entire life, Jordan. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. First or second? -3, where?
The first one.
Good. -3. -2. What's our first issue, Jordan? That's going to give me +6. Okay? So again, I need -6. So let's just change this to +2.
I didn't say -2.
I thought you said -3 and -2. Excuse me.
I don't think he said it.
I said -3 and 2.
Okay. Well, hey, I made a mistake. First time ever. Doesn't feel right.
Specific.
Okay. So now I need to test this out. Okay? I'm going to test out here. I get -3. I'm going to test this out. And I get -4. Sorry, +4. If I combine those, I get 1x. Okay? Well, I don't want 1x. Okay? I want -x. So again, remember what happens here if I get just the wrong symbol? What do I need to do? I just need to change the signs. Okay? So I'm going to end up here with +3 and then x minus 2. Okay. I'll get rid of this. Let's test it one more time just to be sure. So I get 3x and then minus 4x. That's going to give me negative x. Okay. And then, Zach, what's the last thing I need to do?
I'm so confused right now. I think
It's just.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
went off like that.
Huh?
I'm
What's confusing?
everything.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
I literally went on, I veered off, and I just know.
So we did guessing and checking. Okay. So when we switch those symbols, all right, I'm going to check this. I'm going to check my inside terms, which is 3x. I'm going to check my outside terms. So 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x. I combine those, 3x minus 4x is negative x. Okay? So I'm done with my factoring. I've done this correctly. There's only one small tiny thing I need to do in order to answer this correctly.
You need to bring down the -3.
I need to bring down that negative 3 that I factored out initially. Okay? That's it. Again, I could have done the chart, but when my numbers are smaller like that, the chart kind of takes up too much time. And you guys can do pretty well with your factors. Connor?
So, would we do the, at like, I thought it was like we multiply like the first number and the last number. Yeah, something.
Say that again?
Is that we like multiply the first number and the last number together?
Yes, so I could have done it. If I would have done the chart, okay, that would have given me 2 times negative 6. So two numbers that multiply for negative 12, and then two numbers that add for negative 1.
So you can go either way.
I could go either way, all right? I would have then split this. It would have become 4 terms, and I would have factored by grouping.
Okay.
All right? Okay. Any other questions about that one? Okay, number 23. What do we think? 8x squared minus 25. First thing I always look for is what? GCF. Do I have a greatest common factor here? I do not. I have 2 terms. What should I look for? Morgan? The difference of squares. Okay. Do I have difference of squares? I do not. Okay. This is 8x squared is not a perfect square. Okay. 25 is, because the square root of 25 would be 5. Okay. So this is not a perfect square. So I would just say this is completely factored. Again, difference of squares, I need subtraction, and then both terms have to be a perfect square. All right, let's go. All right, number 22, 9x squared minus 48. First thing I'm going to look for is greatest common factor. I'm going to give you a hint. There is a greatest common factor here. What is it?
9.
9's not going to go into 48.
3.
It's 3. Good. Okay, so everything is getting divided by 3. All right, so I'm going to do 9x squared divided by 3 is 3x squared. Negative 48 divided by 3. 16. All right. Now, I have 3 times 3x squared minus 16. I always want to take another look and see what did I end up with inside those parentheses Is there a GCF still in there? Maybe I didn't take out the greatest common factor. Maybe I just took out a common factor. All right. I do not have a greatest common factor here. The next thing I got to look for is difference of squares. Do I have difference of squares? I don't. Okay. So now it's completely factored. That's your answer. Okay. Sometimes all you can do is take out a GCF.
Wait.
All right, number 21. Few things we can do here. What's the number one thing we always need to do? GCF. All right, what's my GCF? 16x and 36x squared, or x to the fourth. Christian,
Is that right?
what'd you say?
Is it 8?
8. 36 does 8 does not go into 36. Joe?
4.
4. Okay. And 4 what, Joe?
4x.
4x what?
Right.
4x squared. Good. Okay. So this is going to give me 4x squared and then minus 9. Okay. I'm going to look inside those parentheses. I'm going to see I don't have another greatest common factor. I don't have another common factor. Okay. But I do have what? I have difference of squares. I have a perfect square. I have a perfect square. I have subtraction. Okay. So when I do this perfect or the difference of squares, what do I end up with? What's the square root of 4x squared? 2 what? 2x and 2x. And what's the square root of 9?
3.
So plus 3, minus 3, and then we'll bring down that first 4x squared that I factored out. All right. And again, look in here. See if you can factor anything out. Okay? That should be pretty easy to see that now those parentheses, those binomials, are going to be prime. Okay, number 20. Number 20, 5x squared minus 35x plus 60. Tommy, first thing I need to look for.
GCF.
GCF, do I have one?
Yes.
What is it?
5.
5, very good. Okay, everything here is getting divided by 5. Okay. Tommy, 5x squared divided by 5?
X squared.
Negative 35x divided by 5?
-6.
Negative 7x. And then 60 divided by 5 is going to be 12. Okay, now, do we want to do the table or do we need to do, can we guess and check?
Guess and check.
All right. Again, I can do both ways. Okay, I have a trinomial. I got to see if I can factor it further, which I probably can. Okay, so again, this is x squared. So I know I can start with x and x. I need two numbers that will be multiply for positive 12, add for negative 7. This sign, this is a plus sign. I know both of these signs are going to be the same. This is a subtraction symbol. They're both going to be x minus, because they're both the same. And I have to get a negative number there. Connor?
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay, negative 3 times negative 12, times negative 4 gives me positive 12. Negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. I'm going to bring that 5 down. Okay? Make sure you put that original greatest common factor out front there.
Okay.
All right, we're going to do one more together, and then we'll give you some time to work on this until the end of class. Okay, number 19 is 4x squared y minus 36y. Okay, Evan, what's my GCF there? I do have a GCF.
4Y.
4y, very good. 4y. Okay, so 4y is going to be out front here. What's going to be left, Evan?
X squared.
Just x squared, okay? The 4 cancels out, the y cancels out. I'm left with just x squared. And what's going to be over here?
Minus 9Y.
Minus 9. It's going to be y?
Oh, just minus 9.
Just minus 9, okay? I factored out my GCF. I'm going to look in here. I have a variable that's being squared, and I have a constant number here. They're not going to have a GCF, okay? But what might they have, Evan? They have two terms, so it could be what?
You could split it up. I don't know what the word for
Difference of squares, okay? So if I do difference of squares here, Evan, what do I end up with?
X minus 3.
And
X plus 3.
x plus 3, okay? One subtraction, one's addition. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 9 is 3. All right, before we give him a few minutes to work, Mr. Duda, do you want to go over anything or touch base on anything?
No, I think we're good. Go ahead and, what we got? What do they got left? Let's go ahead and get through, at least do 1 through 10. Okay, and we'll save a few for tomorrow. So for finish 1 through 10, and as well, what did you get through there? 7 or
We went
19,
through-
24?
19.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it is
so
11.
homework assignment will be 1 through 10.
No.
1 through 10 doesn't look like you have GCF anywhere except for the ones that say specifically factor using a GCF. You're probably not going to do like multiple factors, multiple types of factoring.
Those are kind of way at the end.
Yeah.